Welcome to another episode of the Cat Breeding for Beginners podcast. I'm Pamela and I breed British Shorthairs in Perth, Western Australia. I have a real passion for cat breeding and exhibiting, and I want to share my knowledge and experience with you. I'm on a mission to help new cat breeders go from feeling intimidated, confused and having trouble getting started to confidently breeding happy and healthy cats whilst enjoying this amazing hobby. Before we get started, make sure you visit my website and download your copy of my helpful guide, Advice to New Breeders, where experienced breeders share some great tips they wish someone told them when they started breeding. You can find the link on my homepage at www.catbreedingforbeginners.com. Just look for the picture of Angelica with her kittens. I realised the other day that people definitely come into my, this is a really weird thing to say, but my sphere of influence in different ways. I have a podcast, which you know about because you're listening to me, but I also have a YouTube channel, I have a Facebook page, I'm on Instagram, I'm half of a duo, which is the Cat Show Girls, and I also breed cats myself. So there's lots of different places where people come across me, and people might meet me on one of those places but not necessarily know about me because I haven't really shared in recent times who I am and what I'm about. And I thought today would be a good day to do that. So here's a little bit about me that you may not already know. I first started breeding cats 20 years ago in 2004. So it's 2024 now, and that's exactly 20 years. And to me, that's such a long time. I've got friends who've been breeding for longer than that, but for me, that's a long time. My first cat, Poppy, passed away last year, my first breeding cat, and she didn't quite make it to 20, but it would have been an achievement. But I think her daughter might go the distance. And she was in the first litter of Cuddletons. There was 3 kittens in the litter, and I've still got my beautiful Susie. She was a breeding cat for a while, and she's still with me. She looks very scrappy, but she's very tenacious, and I think she might make it to the 20 mark herself, and that would make me really happy. So I started breeding British Shorthairs all those years ago, and I've only bred British Shorthairs exclusively. Before, when I first started breeding, I was actually probably around that time I was still working in a corporate job. My background is that I'm a qualified accountant, got an accounting commerce degree, and worked as a CPA for a big multinational for quite some time. I then got my own business. I'm not sure why, but I have a beauty spa. I have a day spa. I'm a qualified beauty therapist, weirdly. I've got a diploma in salon management, and I went ahead and went with that for a while, and I still have that now, and that's the other thing that I do. And I bred my cats, and about 2 years into starting as a breeder, I became a show steward. So I steward cats at shows, and that's a really great way to get your hands on everybody else's cats. So if you like touching other people's cats, make sure that you put your hand up to learn how to be a show steward, because it actually is a really fun thing to do, and you're normally working in a team, and it's just kind of great, and you get to be close to the judges, and I just really love it. I love the cat handling part of things. Then probably a couple of years after that, I became a judge. So I became a judge in Group 3, which is the short hair section here, not including the Siamese and Orientals. And then I extended into those cats as well. So I was doing all short hairs. And then recently I've become an Albury's judge because I added long hairs to that. So I've been a cat show judge for about 15 years, judging at shows here in Western Australia. I've also judged in the eastern states, in other states in Australia. For people that aren't in Australia, we call it the eastern states because we're in the western state. And I've also judged overseas. I judged at the Supreme in London, which was just an honour because apparently I was the first Australian to ever do it. So that was crazy amazing and just such a great time. But I've bred I've bred a lot of cats in that time. I've just come up to my 100th litter of kittens. I wasn't even meaning to keep count. It's just on my spreadsheet. I just put the number so that I can reference back to which litter they came from. And I just realized the other day, oh, that's number 99. This next one's going to be 100. So the litter of kittens, I've got my 100th litter of kittens running around in the kitten room as we speak. And that's a lot of kittens. So I don't know how many kittens it is in total. And breeders won't talk about stuff like that because it's kind of seen as like that you've been pumping out the kittens. But it must be, 300 or 400 kittens, I would say. in that time, but we're talking about 20 years here, so you know. The other thing about me is that I was the first person to breed cinnamon British Shorthairs in Australia. I imported 2 cats from the UK probably about a year or 2 after I started breeding, and for a long time I was the only breeder of cinnamon and fawn here in Australia. Everyone's doing it now, which is great. Got much more choice for me, but for a while there I had to do it on my own, and it was a really tough thing to be doing, especially as a new breeder. What else can I tell you about myself? I have, I've already told you, I've got a background in accounting, but I also have a strong background in marketing because I have been doing that for my business for a very long time. And that's pretty much my job now. I am a qualified beauty therapist, yes, but I actually just spend my days doing the marketing for the business because that's a huge part of running that kind of business. So that's where I get a lot of my experience for that, and, done courses and things on that particular topic so that I know how to put a post together for social media. And so that's another thing that I, do every day. But I also, I said I live here in Perth in Western Australia. It's a very hot climate here. It gets cold sometimes, but, not very often. It's mostly more hot than it is cold. And I'm supported in my breeding and my hobby and, with my cats, with my partner Damien. Damien's not, into the cat show side of things as such, but he's very helpful looking after our beautiful cats, and he really does love them as much as me. They love him more than they love me because they're always all over him when he sits down on the couch. They don't come and see me. They always run to daddy. So he really enjoys having them as well. I don't have any kids, but, I guess if I did, they'd be able to help me change litter trays. But no, there's just us and the cats. We're not dog people. We don't have any dogs, but we just have a lot of cats, and we've had a lot of beautiful cats over the years from, I think back to my cats, like my big boy Jack, my first stud cat, and Jackie was amazing. I showed Jackie all over Australia. I took him to every single state in the country. The only thing we didn't do was the territories. So we never went to the Northern Territory, and we never went to Canberra, but I took him to every other state in Australia, and some more than once. And he was just a beautiful, beautiful cat. I think about, some of the cats that I have now are related down from him, and that's a really special thing as well. Had some pretty good show successes, I must say. Some really good results at national shows. I've had multiple Supremes. I can't think of a year when I didn't have a Supreme in show except at the very, very beginning. But, as soon as I got Jackie and started having kittens from him, it started to happen for me that I really was upgrading and did manage to get some really good results. I guess that's pretty much everything you need to know about me. I'm also half of a duo, the Cat Show Girls, with my friend Charlotte. That's really where my cat show stuff I like to share there, because the things that I like, this podcast, and I will mention shows and I will have pods about shows, because I think that's a really big important part of being a cat breeder. But I do tend to put my show stuff over there because that is a little bit more of a bigger place to showcase that particular aspect of my life and my hobby. And I'm normally doing stuff like that with my friend Charlotte, and we just, I don't know, 2 crazy cat ladies traveling the world, going to cat shows and sharing it with everybody so that everybody else can enjoy it as much as we have. But that's a little bit about me. This hobby is purely a hobby for me. I know that some people see cat breeding as a business and see it as something to make profit out of, and that's never been what I've wanted to do it for. I've done it purely as a hobby. A self-sufficient one, absolutely. One that can pay for itself, absolutely. But still, it's always been about the shows for me. If I could breed my cats and have one perfect kitten every year, just one litter with one perfect kitten in it, then I'd be really happy. But I have to have the kittens to get to where I want to go. So they are a big part of it is making sure that they have really wonderful homes to go to, and that I'm reimbursed for those beautiful kittens in a way that can help pay for all of my adult cats, including my old girls like Susie. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And if you have any questions that you want to ask me about my background, I'm happy to talk about that. Just, you can message me on Facebook is probably the best place to get in touch with me. People often ask me breeding questions there as well. But yeah, I'd love to have a chat to you and help you in any way that I can. Okay, bye for now. Thanks for listening. Make sure you visit www.catbreedingforbeginners.com where you can find articles, guides, courses and more. Plus, make sure you check out my amazing New Cat Breeders Club. It's a supportive space where new cat breeders can learn, share and help each other. I only take new members a few times a year, so sign up to make sure you don't miss out.